So let's talk about Tarot. What if I told you that it's not a mirror for your soul, but maybe a tool of control? Today, we're diving into a source that makes that exact argument, and it challenges pretty much everything we think we know about divination. Let's get right into it. Right off the bat, the source material hits you with this. It's a dramatic claim, right? And it immediately makes you question the whole idea that the cards are neutral. The suggestion here is that tarot isn't just some passive reflection of your own intuition. No, it's an active tool, and someone or something is on the other side. This really sets the stage for a completely different way of looking at how all of this works. And here's where those two ideas really clash. On one side, you have the popular belief, right, that tarot is a tool for insight. It connects you with your spirit guides and shows you what might be coming. But on the other side, you have the source's claim that it's actually a system to track and record your energy, that it plugs you into something called the grid, and that it doesn't just reveal the future, it scripts it. It binds you to it. So you have to wonder, how did a system like this supposedly come to be? Well, according to the source, the answer is hiding in its history. So let's start with section 1, the deck's secret history. You know, the source claims that tarot didn't even start as a mystical tool. Not at all. Back in the 15th century, it was just a card game for Italian aristocrats. The big shift happened in the late 18th century when occultists got a hold of it and started linking it to ancient Egyptian myths. But the real turning point, the game changer, was the founding of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn in 1887. All of that led to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck in 1909, which basically cemented the system that most people use today. And this is the really key part, formalization. The source isn't just saying the Golden Dawn interpreted tarot, it's saying they structured it. They supposedly wove it into these really complex systems like Kabbalah and other mystical traditions, complete with rituals and initiations. They essentially turned a parlor game into a gateway. So where did all these rituals even come from? Well, the argument is they weren't new at all. The source claims the Golden Dawn just repackaged much older systems of control. We're talking about things like Egyptian initiation rites, Sumerian gatekeeping rituals, and even something called Enochian angelic scripts, which the source flat out calls grid codes. The basic idea here is that this was like reactivating a very old form of sorcery. Okay, so this is where we get to the real meat of the argument. If there is a system, then how does it actually work? This brings us to section 2, how the grid works. So first things first, what exactly is the grid, according to this source? Well, it's not some neutral spiritual network. It's described very specifically as a control system, one that operates using frequency to track you, record your energy, and ultimately to bind it. So here's how a reading supposedly works from this viewpoint. Step 1, you ask a question. Boom, you've just opened a channel. Step 2, your energy field gets read, almost like an algorithm scanning you. Step 3, an entity responds, but, and this is important, it offers a scripted answer. And then comes the most crucial part, step 4. The moment you believe the reading, the source claims you unconsciously give your consent to that exact script. You agree to it. Which, of course, leads to the big question at the very heart of all this. If it's not your higher self and it's not some benevolent spirit guide, then when you pull those cards, who or what is actually on the other end of the line? So how would you even know? Well, the source points to a few warning signs of what it calls astral impersonators. And it's interesting because it suggests that things we might normally see as spiritual signs, like getting repetitive numbers or symbols, are actually evidence of a script. It also points to getting stuck in recurring life cycles or receiving advice that keeps you in a constant loop of, say, karmic healing, as a sign that you're not actually breaking free, you're just being kept in place. Now, this whole argument isn't just about dusty old tarot decks. Oh no, it extends to all those modern tools that so many of us are using today. And that brings us to section 3, the modern oracle deception. This slide lays out a really important distinction the source makes. It argues that traditional tarot is dangerous because of its rigid, coded structure, the sigils, the whole fool's journey, which can script your timeline. But it claims modern oracle decks are dangerous for the complete opposite reason, their lack of structure. With no shielding, so to speak, and these really open-ended questions, they can supposedly lead to something the source calls field invasion, which is basically an unwelcome entry right into your personal energy. And this quote just perfectly captures the warning about this huge explosion of beautiful, pastel-colored, gentle-looking oracle decks. The argument is that this inviting self-care vibe is actually a disguise for something way more invasive. So the idea here is that these decks are specifically designed to target empaths. They supposedly use these really comforting, beautiful visuals to get past your natural defenses and then trap you in these repetitive emotional loops that feel like you're doing deep, introspective work, but according to the source, they actually just lead to you giving your power away. Okay, so after tearing down this entire alleged system, the source makes a really important shift. It moves from deconstruction to empowerment. And that leads us to our final section, reclaiming your inner flame. The solution that's proposed is this radical return to yourself. And it all starts with this one simple statement. The whole idea is that the guidance you're looking for outside of yourself, it's already there. It's inside your own intuition. And from that idea, the source offers some really tangible actions. These are verbal declarations that are meant to cut any energetic ties. It's about using your own voice to say, I revoke every contract. It's about reclaiming your own personal timing and sealing your own energy field with a power that's greater than any external tool. And this all comes back to one core belief. The source is basically asserting that you don't need a tool to connect to source because your own inner flame, your soul, is already aligned. The work, it suggests, isn't about looking outside for answers. It's about remembering what's already inside of you. And this is the final, powerful takeaway. It's a call to action, to shift from relying on external symbols to wielding your own internal power. It reframes this entire quest for knowledge away from divination and towards activation. So the ultimate question the source leaves us with is this: what happens when we stop asking the deck for answers and we start listening to the fire within?